We are back in the ordinary time according to the church calendar. We have completed our novena in preparation for Christmas. The Christmas season has come and gone with the celebration of the Feast of the Epiphany and the baptism of the Lord. And tomorrow begins the second week in ordinary time. And today is the last day of the first week in ordinary time. I thought I would share with you an ordinary account of my life that is anything but ordinary when put into perspective. I would like to share with you about my swimming career. It is nothing like that of Joseph's schooling, of course. I shared it at a school yesterday, and I thought I would share it with you today as well. The swimming saga really started at secondary 1. We all had to take swimming lessons. It's compulsory. And I had not been into the pool since I was a toddler. And so I was naturally nervous and frightened. And we were all told to line up just in front of the pool and to get into the pool. And I saw all my peers jump in one by one. And so I didn't think too much of it, and I followed suit and I jumped in. And as I went in, I panicked. My legs could not touch the ground. I struggled for a while, and I think I began even swallowing some water. And then those who were around me grabbed me and said, "Just relax," and told me to stand. And so I caught hold of myself. I tried to find the ground, and I placed my feet on the ground, and as I erected my body and I stood straight, I realized the water had only reached my chest. It's really somewhere around here. We had all jumped into a 1.4 meter pool. And of course, I was totally embarrassed, and I did not know where to hide my face. As trivial an event as it was, it scarred me. I became fearful of the water. The sad part is that I've always loved the sea, but now I became afraid of the water. My mind kept telling me that I'm going to drown if I cannot put my feet on the ground. Needless to say, we continued our swimming lessons, and no matter how they tried to teach me to swim, I failed. I think I was the only one who did not receive the swimming certificate at the end. They tried to teach me how to trap water and to kick and to move my hands, but I just kept sinking. The fear had blocked my mind from being able to overcome and to learn. It was a couple of years before I hit the water again. And my swimming saga was a journey of trying to learn how to swim. My long and hard fight brought me nowhere near to what schooling can do, but it was an important journey nonetheless. I picked it up again with some friends who wanted to go swimming, and they tried to teach me, but in vain. I could not get past the deep end of the pool. To make it worse, just when I thought that I was getting better at swimming, and I did actually manage to learn the strokes, I had gone to Sentosa with some friends who persuaded me to swim across to the other island. It was not too far away. And I almost drowned because I could not swim and the fear had paralyzed me. Again, in the army, I was forced to take swimming lessons, but also nothing seemed to work. I did not know what was driving me, but for some reason, I just refused to give up, and I just wanted to learn how to swim. Maybe it was my love for the sea, or I just could not accept that this skill that anyone could learn could not be learned, I could not pick up. And so from 13 years of age till about 23 years old, 10 years had gone by, and I had not made any significant progress. Around this time, a couple of friends and I arranged to do some sea adventure. We did snorkeling and such, and we also tried this banana boat ride. I'm not sure if you've tried it before. So we were all vested in a life jacket, and so while I was afraid of water, I took comfort in knowing that I was protected. The whole aim of the ride is to fling you off into the open sea, and we all literally went flying. And I remember being so afraid, but without much difficulty, I floated back up. The sea was buoyant, and the life jacket just brought me right back up. And I just kept remembering, do not panic. Strangely, that incident somehow tricked my mind into trusting the water again. After that incident, when I tried to go back into the pool to keep up my swimming, I realized my fear had been greatly reduced. As I went across the 1.8-meter depth, I was able to talk to myself and calm myself down, not to panic. I learned to befriend the water. Eventually, after more than 10 years, I was able to make it past the deep end and reach to the other end of the pool. This was the beginning of my actual learning to swim. It took so many years for me to just get over the trauma and to now be able to swim. I'm not a great swimmer, but I'm just happy to say that I can finally swim. And this very ordinary instance of working at something in our lives over an extended period of time is anything but ordinary when we become aware of what we are able to achieve when we set our hearts and minds on something that we give priority to. Even our mundane day-to-day experiences can become unplanned moments of grace and redemption. When we see our lives as a continuum and not in parts, we get to see our growth. Time offers us a perspective that we do not often see if we keep focusing on our one-off failures. Even when we look at God's redemption and we study our salvation history, we begin to see that God's redemption did not begin and end with the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus alone. It began long before, from the moment Adam and Eve turned from God, and continues long after to this present moment. If we remain faithful to the ordinary events of life and believe in the love of Jesus more than our weakness, in the words of Mother Teresa, we will see God's promise of redemption and salvation in our lives, regardless of how bleak the present may seem.